looked so he lost his composure so many times, and he just looked rattled and he looked scared at times. It was just like, and I obviously think about the last round in my fight, and I just think, as I said, I couldn't sleep after his fight. I was just like, man, how did I let that slip? And then obviously you think to yourself how different my life would be if I had performed on that night. I'd probably, at the moment, I think he would have to be the number one in the bantamweight division at the moment.
And you want to fight him.
Exactly. I want to test myself against the best, and I still believe that I can beat him, and I would love the opportunity to try.
Takuma had a great performance against Inoue. It was a lot more dominant than a lot of people expected. I think he knocked him down twice, was it? But he rocked him a couple of times as well, and the points were just so one-sided. It was cool to watch Takuma do his thing, but then it was also sad to see a legend like Inoue get dominated like that. I want to hear your thoughts on the fight.
Yeah, I thought Takuma was sensational. A great performance. I thought his last performance against Tenshin was amazing. I thought he looked great in that fight. I think I went on record saying that I thought Tenshin was going to beat him, and then he was incredible in that fight and won that fight really well. And I could see the improvements that Takuma has made. And then again, another great performance against Arika. I think I expected him to win this one, but maybe not so dominant. So, yeah, it was a great performance by Takuma. I think he's definitely continuing to improve as a fighter. And, yeah, Arika was probably sad to see someone go out like that. He's obviously had a great career. But, yeah, I think stylistically it was just a bad fight perhaps for him at his stage of his career. He was just sort of a little bit in front of Takuma, not moving his head very much and just taking too many shots. But, yeah, Takuma fought a great fight. And, yeah, I was impressed by his performance.
Do you feel like he's coming into his own, or like he's getting stronger at a pretty good pace? Because I think the whole narrative with Takuma was like he always had the skills, but he just kind of couldn't put it together in a fight. And sometimes he would show flashes of good performances against Angkas, the Filipino champion. And then ever since the Tenshin fight, it was kind of a big breakthrough moment. And then this one once again. So do you feel like he's kind of coming up in his own?
Yeah, definitely he is. As I said, I think he's continuing to improve and becoming a great champion. And yeah, I think there's, as you said, he's always showed glimpses of his talent, and now he's starting to put it together. And yeah, 2 great performances in a row. So yeah, you have to give him your respect. He's really improving as a fighter, and he's probably at the moment, I think, in the bantamweights, I think he would have to be the number one in the bantamweight division at the moment.
And you want to fight him.
Exactly. And that's like people saw me call him out after his victory. Like that was just nothing but respect. It's like, I think you're now the number one in the division, and I would love to fight you. And people can say, oh, you're not going to get that fight, you're dreaming. And it's like, yeah, well, I'm putting out my wishes. I'm not saying, oh, you have to fight me or you're ducking me. Like, I'm saying respectfully, I would love to fight you. Like, I stepped up and fought Inoue in a way because I wanted to test myself against the best. And now I think that Takuma Inoue is the best in the bantamweight division. He's coming off 2 very good, impressive performances. He's the WBC champion. And I want to test myself against the best, and I still believe that I can beat him, and I would love the opportunity to try. But yeah, that's coming from a place of respect. And there's no ill feelings there. I just want to fight him because I think he's very good.
You just want to compete against the best in the division, I guess, is your motivation.
100%.
Right. I think it's an intriguing fight, though. Takuma versus Moroney. You guys, so you have the storyline of you fighting Inoue. It's pretty easy to promote.
Yeah, exactly. And I've always felt that was going to be a great fight if it eventuates, me against Takuma. Yeah, there's the history with me fighting his brother, but yeah, I've always watched him and thought this would be a great fight. I think stylistically we have some similarities.
Yeah, sure.
I went over and I was the sparring partner for Seiya Satsumi when he was preparing for Takuma Inoue to help him, and I watched a lot of Takuma to try and I guess replicate him and help him as best as I could, and I felt like I did a good job as a sparring partner. But I've done a lot of, I've watched Takuma a lot, and I think I have a good idea of what he does well. and I think that I match up really well against him, and I think I can beat him. But that's because I love the challenge and I want to fight the best.
That would be a great fight, and it would be cool because your brother hopefully can get the belt at super flyweight, and if you can get a belt at the same time, then you guys can accomplish the goal you guys set out from way before. That would be such a cool story, though, if you guys both can have the belt at the same time. That would be dope.
Yes, that's been the dream. We've got to make it happen.
Without giving up too much, what makes Takuma a great boxer? What exactly is it about him that's special?
Oh, I just think he's got a very good eye. I think he's got a great technique. He's fast. His punch selection is great. He's defensively quite good. He's got the full package, I guess, aside from having like really devastating power. Like he can still punch, but I think he doesn't really have like the devastating knockout power. But he's a very, very good boxer. Yeah, I think he's very good, and like training with his father and training alongside Inoue every day. Like what doesn't get any better than that. I can see why he's improving so much. It's like, man, I'd love to be in that gym every day working with those guys. You're bound to be great.
By the way, kind of off topic, but do you go overseas to get sparring partners or train at other gyms?
Yeah. I've done training camps. I've been to Japan twice as a sparring partner and not fought. I've been to the Philippines for a training camp to just spar. I've flown many people to Australia to be my sparring partner. Yeah, I've had the opportunity to spar with many great champions like Lomachenko, Nonito Donaire. That experience is priceless. That's where you develop as a fighter. The good, best sparring you can get will obviously lift you to another level.
It's true because from what I understand, Australia, boxing isn't like the most popular sport. But Japan, the lighter weight classes, I mean, just within the country, you have a good selection of opponents, I believe. But Australia must be, it's a little bit of I guess, another disadvantage because you have to call people or you have to go over there.
Yeah, that's right. And yeah, that's unfortunate, but you have to play with the cards you're dealt, and that's why I have to invest and spend money and fly to other countries or fly sparring partners in, and it makes it harder, but you just have to do what you can to make sure that you can replace that. So constantly traveling, constantly trying to fly people in, traveling as far as I can in Australia to get the best rounds I can.
Yes, much respect. Going back to the main topic, I think Takuma said after the fight that he wanted to unify a title, and I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but that's kind of like where his mind's at. I guess the rematch against Tsutsumi is probably definitely on his mind. It's interesting because I think Tenshin's actually the mandatory, and the whole narrative over here is that Tenshin beat Estrada, and now he got another shot at the title and was going to challenge for the winner of Takuma versus Ioka, and then Takuma won. So it's like the closest thing you can get to an instant rematch, which is, I don't know, some people are looking forward to it. I'm on the side where like it's too soon. Like I just saw it. Like let's see them against other people and they can come meet up later. But what do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. But I think, even if Tenshin is the mandatory, a unification precedence that. So if he can get a unification fight, then he doesn't have to fight the mandatory next. So I'd prefer to see Takuma get a unification fight than to see him fight Tenshin again straight away. I don't know the exact circumstances with Seiya Satsumi with him, and how they've made Vargas the champion in recess because of Seiya's injury. I think Seiya and Takuma rematch is a great fight, more appealing than the Takuma fight for me. And then obviously if he could get a unification against Medina or Salas, the other champions, that's intriguing as well. But yeah, I think Tenshin, perhaps even though he just beat Estrada, probably isn't quite ready or probably doesn't deserve the Takuma rematch straight away. It's so soon.
If the fight were to happen, do you favor Takuma?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I think after the first time and Takuma then going on to have another spectacular performance. And, I thought Tenshin was good against Estrada, but I think Estrada is past his best. So I would have to favor Takuma if they were to fight again.
It's just so soon, you would have to say that, right?
Yeah. And Takuma also goes into the rematch with extra confidence and knowing what worked against Tenshin and the belief that, hey, I've already beat him. I can do it again.
Have you seen the Tenshin Estrada fight, by the way?
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know if you follow Tenshin's like that the fight itself or like the media and stuff that much, but like the whole narrative and storyline was Tenshin kind of trained his training environment. He brought in his old boxing coach who he had train him or teach him punches when he was a kickboxer, and he started training with his dad again, and the whole narrative was a new Tenshin was going to come and show up against the Estrada fight. But what do you feel about that? Was there like any difference since the Takuma fight?
Yeah, I thought he fought a good fight. I think Estrada, for where he's at in his career, he's past his best, and I don't think he presented the same challenge that Takuma Inoue, gave him. So it was probably easier for him to look a little better in that fight. But he did some good things. But I think he also showed some areas where he was vulnerable again. And, an Estrada that's past his best had moments where he looked like he could cause trouble. But he, ultimately, obviously, Tenshin won the fight. But I didn't really see anything that had me saying, wow, like this is a new and improved Tenshin. No, I think he fought well. I think he is continuing to improve, but there was no dramatic improvement in my eyes.
Right. What were the points, if I may ask, that it looked like Estrada was going to do pretty well?
Well, he just started to find a home for his right hand, and he started to land some good shots, and I thought, these are starting to land, and there's maybe a chance that he hurts Tenshin here. And then I think Tenshin, when he sort of moves a lot, is hard to hit, as I found out. But if he wants to stand there and trade with you and punch with you, then he can be a little bit vulnerable. And then when he started to sort of want to trade with Estrada, I think Estrada was thinking, yeah, here we go. This is the fight I want. I want you to stand here and fight with me. I'm a Mexican. I want to have a war. And he started to find a home for his right hand a few times. And I thought there was probably one in particular. I thought, that might have hurt Tenshin there. And, obviously it only takes one fight to turn the fight around. But ultimately, I think Estrada was just one step behind. I think he looked a bit slow. He looked a bit flat-footed, and he looked like he's, on the end of his career.
I mean, Estrada kind of the same lines as Ioka, as a legend who is coming up a weight class, right? So I think those two can... that's a good match, a Legends match, Ioka versus Estrada. Yeah, that is, yeah. Did either of them announce their retirement? I didn't see. No. Ioka has not, and I don't think Estrada has either. Well, they could do that fight. I'd like to fight either of them too. If you want to put that's not bad either. That's not bad either. Yeah. I wish I could ask who you need to fight to get the Takuma match. Like, who do you need to beat to get there? Yeah, and I know I might not get it next fight, but as I said, I was just respectfully saying I would love the fight. You can't hate a fighter for wishing to fight the best, surely. Listen, I want to get your opinion on the Takei fight, but I think this fight was a super bantamweight. But I thought a rematch with Takei and you would be great. I don't know if it could be a catch weight or bantamweight if you can get there, but I think that's a great match for him, Takei, and for you. I would love that fight. As I said, I couldn't sleep after his fight. I was just like, man, how did I let that slip? And then obviously you think to yourself how different my life would be if I had performed on that night. I'd still be champion. I would have defended my belt. I would have had my hand raised at the Tokyo Dome in front of 55,000. You just kick yourself. I was up all night thinking about that fight, but I'd love that rematch. I did see that fight was at 122. I saw that he's now in the rankings at 122, but I don't know if that means that he's staying there or if that was just because it was only an 8-round fight. He thought, why go all the way down to bantamweight if I don't have to? But yeah, I would love to fight him. I'd fight him at 122, no problem. That's cool. I kind of like that match because I want to get your thoughts on like the fight itself, but the whole outcome of it was like, well, a lot of people thought Wang Dikang won the fight, and Takei's, the harsh critics weren't very pleased with his performance. So in a way, if he can rematch with you and if he can show a spectacular performance and win again, he'll kind of get his redemption, I guess, for what I was thinking. Both of you guys have a lot to win with this match. So, and it's just interesting. It's just the rematch. And the way you ended the last round is just so, that's exactly what, that warrants a rematch kind of fight.
That's how I should have started the fight. I know I kicked myself. But yeah, you can do me a favor and speak to the powers that be and tell them, sell them the fight, and I'm there. I'm in one corner. Don't worry.
I'm gonna try to get this portion of the part and just make shorts and like throw it all over the internet. By the way, what do you think of his performance though? It was a tough fight, and I think Wang Dikan, he was just extremely tough. And I mean, to be honest, he was kind of brought in there to lose, and that's kind of how we were all looking at the fight. Well, Take's just gonna win by knockout, and then he's gonna come back to probably drop down to bantamweight again and try to compete up, get himself up there and fight for the belt. But it wasn't like that at all. It kind of all backfired. But what do you think about it?
Yeah, I didn't score the fight round by round, so you see some big moments from Wang, and you think he won the fight. But if you actually sit in there scoring it round by round, it was a close fight, and maybe Takai still won it. But I think he just had so many moments where he looked so vulnerable and he was moving so much and so defensive, and it looked so he lost his composure so many times, and he just looked rattled, and he looked scared at times. It was just like he just didn't look like the fighter that I think he can be. He's still got some good shots, he's still got some good punches, and he's got good power, but he just did not control the fight at all, and he just looked so vulnerable. And I don't know what went wrong in the performance. I don't know if he has lost his confidence and his belief from his loss to Medina. I don't know what it was, but he just didn't look himself, and he was very defensive, and he was running in parts of the fight, which surprised me. I think I don't know why he was moving so much. And you watch that fight, and I obviously think about the last round in my fight, and I just think, why didn't I do that? It's in the past. I can't change it now.
Right. It's true that it wasn't really like the way he would normally fight, which was kind of surprising. It was very unlike him. I think after the fight, his team announced that he had an injury or something to his, I don't know, was it his ankle or somewhere along his leg, but then, I mean, he was moving around a lot, and it didn't really seem to affect him that much, so, I'm not sure about that.
If it's a leg, you don't move so much. He should have stayed, held his ground, and he would have fought better. I think he was moving way too much.
Do you think it was just the mental side of things, especially after the Medina KO loss?
Yeah, I think so. And maybe him thinking to himself, I can't lose again. And not wanting to take any risks, and sort of being quite defensive because he didn't want to lose. I think that maybe, I don't know, I can sort of see that in a way that I think to myself, how did I lose to Kai? And I think if I really think about it, that maybe you fight your whole life to become world champion, and I become world champion, and on the way up, and when you're fighting for the title, and when you're fighting on the way up, you just want to win so bad, and you take the risk, and you do everything, you put it all on the line to win. And then once you're champion, I think to myself, was I fighting a little bit defensive? Because now, instead of wanting to win so bad, I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose this title. And you're sort of fighting like you don't want to lose, rather than you're fighting like you have to win, and that's what I sort of think to myself. It's not what I thought before the fight, but looking back on it, it's did I fight bad against Takai because I just didn't want to lose, rather than going there against Takai and going, I have to win and I'm going to knock this guy out. That's a different mentality. I know it's sort of similar, but it's not. And I think maybe Takai fell into that trap where he's like, I can't lose again. I've already lost my title against Medina. I can't lose against this guy in an 8-round fight. And he was just, moving and being defensive and fighting like he didn't want to lose, not like he believed in himself and that he could knock this guy out and that he was going to win, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no. I think a lot of people understand, especially if you're a boxing fan. You've kind of heard of this concept once before. Is that something you can recover from, let's say? Obviously, the mental aspect where you just pointed out, but also the knockout loss to Medina, destroying his confidence, I guess. Is that something that you can bring back?
I think so. I think everyone's different, but yeah, like if that was the case with me and losing my title because I didn't want to lose, like I feel like now that, you know, I wanted to become a champion so bad and I achieved that, but now it's been taken away from me. It's like I'm even hungrier now than I was, because once I've tasted what I wanted and it's been ripped away from me, it's like, man, I want that back so bad that now I'm back. Like I want to win, like, and I've got 2 wins on the run now and I'm back hungry as ever. And you know, it's such a long climb back to the top. Like once you lose that title, it's like it's a long road back. And you know, you're climbing your way back, you're climbing your way back. And I think next time I get a title shot, I'll be fighting with a completely different mindset. Like I need to win this again, and I'll do anything it takes to win, rather than having that, you know, I don't want to lose mindset. So Takai can overcome that, but everyone's different. He has to find it in him. You know, how bad does he want it? And, you know, can he sort of take away the fear of losing, and can he regain the hunger for winning?
I guess we'll just have to see. I don't know who they're going to match him up against next, but yeah, I think that's a great, I think that's a great fight for both of you guys, though.
Yeah, me too.
I really hope that happens. I'm kind of stuck on that now. I don't know. Because let's say we match Takei against some guy we just don't know that he's just supposed to knock out. It just doesn't really make a statement of anything. So I don't think that's going to make his confidence grow by any means too. But like fighting you against someone he's familiar with again and beating him again is kind of a great confidence booster if he can pull it off. And for you, it's a chance at redemption.
Redemption, so, exactly.
I really like this story. I'm really into it.
Perfect. I hope everyone is. I'd love to come back to Japan and fight him again.
Yeah, it'd be great to have you fight in Japan again. I mean, there's some, especially now because bantamweight, there's so many Japanese boxers, and a lot of them are, I think, well, to me, 3 of the belts are, you know, taken by Japanese. 3, was it? Takuma, yeah, Masuda too. So yeah. 3, so I mean,
well, yeah, so Masuda's got the interim, is that right?
I think he beat Donaire and he got,
was that for the interim?
Oh wait, was that for the title shot? I might be mistaken. You're right, that was my mistake.
The WBA I think have 3 champions.
Oh, that's crazy.
Because that's why I was saying earlier, like Seiya Satsumi is the WBA champion.
Yes.
You know, but you have Masuda, I think, with an interim, and you have Vargas that has
some other belt.
What, a regular title that they're given to him because he had, no one beat Seiya Satsumi. So Seiya's the WBA champion, you know?
Right, yeah. It's true. I was confused again.
No, but so is everyone. So is everyone. Because why is there several champions? I know Seiya was injured, but he never lost. So why bring in another champion? Man, I don't know.
Yeah, Seiya versus Masuda is probably going to happen. I would imagine, because that's a rematch as well.
I saw whispers that Masuda was going to fight Diego Higa. Is that
really?
True? I don't know. It was only a rumor, but I don't know.
Higa's retired like 4 times probably.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it's just a rumor, of course, but I don't know.
That's an interesting fight as well. But I mean, there's a lot of interesting matches for you against Japanese fighters. That would be great to watch. So I really hope that we can get that going in the future.
Me too.
Okay, so it was great talking to you again. I really hope your brother can pull it off and get the belt. And then I also really hope you can get the bantamweight belt in the same time era. That'd be great to see.
Yeah, thank you. That's what we're working very hard to make happen. And I'm excited to come back to Japan. Obviously, I will just be in the corner for my brother. I won't be fighting, but I'm excited to get back over to Japan. Yeah, I love going to Japan, and we always get so much good support over there. So I hope everyone supports my brother and watches him and cheers for him as he becomes IBF World Champion. And then, hopefully I'll be back again soon, fighting for a world title very soon. And, yeah, we can achieve that dream of both being world champions at the same time.
Yeah, I really hope you get another good fight here in Japan. Takei would be great. I said that like 100 times, but
yeah, let's do it.
Do you guys walking around Japan? Do the fans get you guys mixed up by any chance?
Me and my brother?
Yeah.
I don't know, because most people will just run up and say Maloney, Maloney.
Right.
So I don't know which one they think it is. But no, I get amazing support in Japan. Like I get stopped on the street and asked for photos and stuff, and like more than I would in Australia.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
I think I get better support in Japan than I do in my own country. So it's crazy, but yeah, I love getting back over there, and yeah, I'm excited to be back there next month.
Everyone, please follow Jason Maloney's Instagram. And do you do Twitter by any chance?
Yeah, I do. I'm not
Okay.
very active, but yeah, at
Okay.
Jason Maloney 1
Okay. Okay.
on Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah, so follow me.
Please follow Jason Maloney. Thank you so much for the time. It was great talking to you again. Good luck with
You
everything.
too, man. You too. It's always good talking to you. Thanks for your time.
All right. Take care. Bye bye.
Take care. Bye.